So now, those who are worried about AI taking your jobs, there are sometimes receptionists wherein you actually, a robot like person where you can go in touchpad and that person can actually help you with what you're looking for. So instead of having a human, you actually have a robot who is helping you. Or if you want someone, let's say a therapist, and for therapist, you actually have an AI system which can actually help you do that. Okay, but is it actually going to be as useful, or is it going to be as a replacement of human? Probably not. You see, as and when technology advances, what becomes more important is actually human connection. Facebook's entire technology is so high, but the core point is communication between humans. That's the key point. So going forward, it's all about the things which we humans are good at, and what is really never focused is we are extremely good at diverse tasks. It took how many days for us to learn driving? Maybe 1 month, 1 month driving class. And in that 1 month, maybe we are also trying it just for 1 hour every day. So in 30 hours, we learn driving. Similarly, we also learn recognizing characters, OCR. Similarly, we learn to identify images which are present in any picture. Similarly, we learn to identify what is being spoken to us. We learn languages, we learn to speak, we learn to identify instruments, we learn to identify some things. Now, you see, there is this thing called as this hobby which is very interesting, bird watching hobby. Okay, in this hobby, if you ask, so one of my friend, he's extremely passionate about this. Actually, he can identify any bird simply by the voice, simply by the noise made by the bird. All the species, so he can identify more than 500 species of the bird simply by listening to the voice. This is the depth of the knowledge. So we can not only learn languages, we can learn such weird stuff. So our kind of key point is how great we are at diverse tasks, and we can learn from extremely small amount of data, and plus the human part. So it's like, you see, a chatbot will be able to actually understand what emotion we are feeling. Okay, there is different things, so let me just talk about that here. So a chatbot, can it understand the emotion, or can it identify the emotion? There is a big difference between both. A chatbot, no matter a AI system, no matter how great, it can just identify, it can't understand. And with, as and when it is coded, you can actually figure out, you can actually simulate the understanding wherein it feels like it is understanding, but in reality it is not. So that's when there are futures. So what is irreplaceable? So it's like in matrix there is said that it is a simulation. Now, is it a simulation if you don't know it is a simulation? That's a good question. Okay, it's the same way here. So what is human? So when we know that it is a AI, the value of that actually goes very down. So for example, let's take feature like autocomplete. When we know it is something which is written is by autocomplete, we will probably not value it as much as we would value something which was done written by a human. That's why now there is no value to emails, but people will be really appreciate a handwritten letter. Why? Because writing a letter, posting it, that coming to you is hard, it takes time, whereas writing an email is very easy. So you see, it is not humans versus AI. In the beginning of the session, I talked about it is not humans versus AI, it is humans plus AI. And when we know what is the impact when AI actually becomes in our product, we actually simply have to adapt accordingly. You see, AIs are good at narrow tasks, they need millions of examples. When technology improves in next 10 or 20 years, we will not need millions of examples. So AI might need few examples like human does. AI might be able to do wider tasks, but AI is not human. So this is a key task to kind of like understand. But these talks, they are far in future. They are not in our area of consideration. This is at least 10 to 20 years far in future. So let's take a look at the present. Present where we are actually solving the problems, and how do we actually solve those problems. We will take a look at that in subsequent sections.